Hi, my name is Todd Ross, and in 1996 my father Roy was killed while racing at the Race City Speedway in Calgary. Over the last 24 years, Bruce Hampton, president of the International Motor Contest Associates, and its drivers have put on a memorial race in honor of my father. This year it's at the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin. I'd like to invite you all to come down and watch some great grassroots racing on the pavement. I'd like to ask you a favor. If you are planning on coming down to the Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin to cheer on one or more of the competitors in this year's 25th anniversary Roy Ross Memorial, please buy your tickets online at eventbrite.ca or email royrossmemorial@gmail.com. All the purchases from either the online sales or through email, the proceeds go directly back to the racers of the show. Please support them and come on down and again watch some great racing. Thank you. And now we're going to watch a video of one of the competitors in this year's race. I'd like to thank Ian Burgess for doing the interviews and for providing them to the Roy Ross Memorial. Thank you. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our series of driver interviews for the 25th running of the Roy Ross Memorial. This year's event will be held July 23rd and 24th at Edmonton International Raceway in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. The goal of these interviews is to just give you a chance to get to know our drivers and hear about their racing journey and what the Roy Ross Memorial means to them. My name is Ian Burgess. I've had the pleasure of racing in this event, helping crew for people in this event, and just being around the IMCA Modifieds for a long time. I was able to win the Trophy Dash in my only running of the Roy Ross Memorial, and it's a trophy that we display proudly in our house, and gives me a chance to talk about Roy Ross and the race that was born out of tragedy. Today we welcome driver of the number 81 car, Tyler Knowles. Tyler was one of the young guns. He's getting a little older now. But he's ran this. This will be his 6th consecutive year running the Roy Ross Memorial, and he's been fast right out of the box. And so one of the cool things for him is, I don't know if you know this or not, that throughout all of the races at EIR, you hold the 3rd fastest lap time in ever. Did you know that?
I knew it was somewhere up there, but I didn't realize it was that high, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was 2019, so BJ was a little bit quicker than you that day, and then Trevor Eamon holds the record for the fastest time, but you're right up there in that as well, so that's pretty cool. And you're also, these are the little stats Todd sends me, you're also tied for 2nd for the Hard Charger Award. So in 2020, last year, you went from 10th to 2nd. And that was a crazy race and all that. So maybe just before we talk about that race last year, talk about your journey in racing. How did you get started? I know you have deep family connections to racing and stuff like that. So maybe just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, racing started with actually both grandpas on either side. Grandpa on my dad's side ran Speedway, was a starter for the drag strip. So that was kind of the drag strip side. And then grandpa on my mom's side raced in New Brunswick, started racing hobby stocks and all that stuff. They finally moved here. Parents met. Mom ran super stocks. Dad ran sprint cars. And it just kind of went from there. Had dirt bikes for a while. Sold all the dirt bikes to buy a mini cup. And bought Ryan a feature stock and started in the mini cup. And then just worked my way up. Ran the mini cup for a bunch of years. Bought a Sunfire. Ran that for a bunch of years. And then decided to jump in the mod.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I know when you first started in the modified, your brother Ryan was also running. Maybe talk a little bit about what it was like to get to race against your brother.
Oh, it's always been cool to race against him because, you got a little bit of give with him and you're going to get some back with him. What's always going to happen. He's definitely taught me some of the most things in racing where it's just get in the car and drive it. Don't worry about anything else, because he was very much seat of the pants driver. And I look up to that, whether I should or not, but you definitely just get in the car and drive and go from there.
Yeah. I know 2017 was a tough time for your family, and the passing of your father, but one of the neat things was they had the Todd Knowles Memorial Dash, and you were able to win that. Maybe just talk about what that was like, and how you kind of raced the rest of the day and all that kind of stuff, because I'm sure it was probably a pretty emotional time.
Yeah, that day started off pretty good. I mean, we practiced. I'm pretty sure we practiced pretty quick. My heart's never been racing faster, but for that trophy dash, I don't know what it. Maybe because it's just for my dad, but my heart's never raced that fast for 4 laps in my life. But I think it was a pretty good day that day. I mean, we were quick, so I can't complain, and we won it, and I got that trophy right beside my bed, so it's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome. That's pretty cool. Um, so last year you started 10th, and so what a lot of people, if they don't follow IMCA racing or a lot of short track racing and they follow NASCAR, in NASCAR, if you time in the quickest, you start first place on the pole and away you go. With IMCA, with short track racing, we do a little bit different. So with IMCA, we invert. So if you time in quick, you actually start 10th, or if you're leading the day points, you start 10th. So last year you started 10th, which means you were leading the day going into the main event. And that's something to be very proud of. It's hard. This is one of the biggest events, and all the big guys are there. All the hot shoes are there. And you raced all the way up to second. Talk about that day. Going from 10th to second at Edmonton International Raceway is tough to do. You know that, and it can be a hard track to pass on. So maybe just talk about the day. Seems like the car was set up pretty well if you were able to do that.
Yeah, no, that weekend the car definitely wasn't the fastest, but I think I timed in fourth or something, which normally I like to time in up higher than that, but it's just one of those days. I think that day was just be patient. I was just trying to be as patient as I could until I needed to do something. I saw Mike going 5 wide through the middle of the corner, and I said I wasn't going to play that game. So I stayed back a little bit longer and just waited. He kind of got ahead and ran away a little bit, and I knew something was going to happen. And with the hard charger thing, it was always dad said you have to pass the most cars. It was always pass the most cars and you won the day. It's kind of how it went. So I just decided to pass the most cars that day, I guess, and just patience. Something happened. I think I passed 4 cars in 1 lap, and it worked out.
Yeah. Maybe just talk about the patience. So it is a tricky track in that if you drive the car too hard in the corner, the car will push up a little bit and you'll end up 3 cars will go underneath you. And so you have to be patient, but you also can't be too slow. And then, people will be bashing on your bumper and all that. So maybe just talk about what's the secret to being fast at Edmonton International Raceway.
I don't know if there is a secret, but that's always been my kind of just patience and waiting for something to happen. Just knowing when something's going to happen, reading people, trying to understand what each guy's going to do, whether they come off the corner a little bit harder than you. I mean, you got to drive it in just an inch further and not let them gain that extra bit. Find their weakness. Don't attack them on their strengths, but attack them on their weaknesses and work from there.
Yeah, and I think even just a little bit of like paying attention to other cars, not just the car directly in front of you, but what's going on a couple cars ahead, and how do you kind of set yourself up maybe for not that lap, but maybe something in 5 laps later, stuff like that. This year the event is going to be held over 2 days, which is new for the first time. And I don't know if you've heard, but on the Friday night they're doing the Silver Star Challenge, and the winner of that 47 lap main event is going to get a WWE belt, which I think would be pretty cool. I don't know. I think that's a pretty neat spin on a trophy. And then, of course, on Saturday, Mark Burton with Anya Gas Compressions coming along and supporting all the trophies for the event and stuff like that. And we have that beautiful big Roy Ross Memorial Trophy, which is, again, just a sight to behold. Do you think, and then there's a weekend championship, so they're going to add up all the points for the weekend. Are you going to drive any differently knowing that there's 2 days of racing, or are you just going to do things the way you always do for both days?
I think it's going to be most of the same. I think the goal definitely for sure would be the weekend points, because I know that can be done, and we'll see from there. It'd be pretty cool to have my name on that trophy up high along with Grandpa and guys like Dave Smith and all the hometown heroes that I grew up watching and hearing about, and just be cool to have my name on top of all those.
Yeah, no, it's the trophy's a really cool thing, and every driver, even if you finish last place, your name's still on that trophy, which is kind of cool, and something to go and look at all the time. Um, what does racing in this event mean to you? What is the reason this is the event that maybe I know in past years you've ran part time and stuff like that. It's always an event that you make sure you get your car out to. You've been six years in a row. I think ever since you started running the modified, you've been there for everyone. Why do you and your family work so hard to make sure you get out to that event?
It's just our big one at Wetaskiwin. We got there and we got Super Nationals. Those are the two big ones. Those are the ones that everybody wants, and it's for a good reason. I mean, like I said, I got my grandpa's names up there, a bunch of people that I've grown up around and heard dad talk about and everything like that. It's just cool to keep that tradition, or that, whatever the right word is.
Yeah, no,
Keep
I
that
think
going.
you're right. Yeah.
Just, yeah.
And maybe one of the last things you want to talk about, because um, I know you do a lot of this work yourself, but there are a lot of people that have come along and helped you. And I'm very similar to you. My dad passed away when I was pretty young, and I was pretty fortunate to have up in Grand Prairie. I had the Clarks and I had the Chrissicks and Kenny Lett and these people that came along and gave me shop space and just some of just the knowledge, because that's the hardest part is you want this setup or you want that bar angle or whatever it is. Maybe just talk about maybe some of the people that have helped you out and what it means to you that those people have been able to do that for you.
Yeah, it's definitely the people outside of the family that have definitely got me where I am, at least. McTavish's, I can't thank them enough, all of them, for everything they've done. They helped build that car. They've definitely done more than anyone should ever do for anybody. We kept that car in their shop for a year and just worked away at it, traded everything we had to build that car. And people like Eamons, that I can bring my car to their shop any day. I can do the same with McTavish's. It's definitely the family side of it that the racing family definitely steps up, and I can't thank everybody enough. There's just been so many people behind me, and it makes it what it is, I guess.
Yeah, and it's an IMCA thing. I've seen drivers lose the championship because they lent their spare motor to the competitor, and that guy ended up beating him, and things like that. And I'm sure you've been in those boats too, where something breaks, something fails, and there's someone down the pit that says, "Here you go," and they bring the part down to you. Somebody's will even jump in and help you install the part, and sometimes you end up beating them with their parts. But it truly it is the spirit of our sport. I always heard people talk about, I'd rather beat you on the racetrack than in the pits, right? And so we all work hard, and I know you're the same way. I know you've been helping pull motors and all that kind of stuff. We do them at the racetrack and stuff like that. And so it's a big family, right? And so I know you have your immediate racing family and your, but maybe just talk a little bit about, you've already mentioned a little bit, like what does the racing family mean to you?
It's kind of everything. It's been since I was 48 hours old at the racetrack watching grandpa go round and round. I mean, some of the closest people in my life, some of the most inspirational people in my life have been people in racing, not even just race car drivers, families of race car drivers, just everything in racing and out of racing, just being able to get away, whether it's working on something else, whether it's building anything at somebody else's shop. It's an escape, and definitely got me through all the crappier times with dad, but it definitely made it easier, and I'm just really thankful for it.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Just before we finish tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors, anything like that help you get to the track and keep on your racing journey?
Yeah, McTavish's for sure. Hitchworks have definitely helped me out a lot. Cantork's a newer sponsor that we got the car all shiny now, or the chassis all painted up in bright red now. It's not 3 different colors, which is pretty awesome. Polar Industries and Avalon Automotive, they've always been there when I needed them, and just great sponsors. So I can't thank them enough.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I hope, Tyler, this year is your year. I hope that you can get that one more spot on the podium, and you can get your your car on the trophy. It would be very fitting to have it, your car there, your grandpa's car there, all that kind of stuff. We hope you all the best. I'm excited to hear you plan to run pretty much a full season at both EIR and Hythe Motor Speedway. We love having you up north. They love having you at EIR as well. So all the best, my friend. Happy wrenching. I hope everything goes well for you. Good luck this weekend getting the cars shook down at the first race, and we'll see you down in the pits, one of the tracks.
Will do. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Have a good night.
You too.